This is ITV, certainly the best.
I have with me here in the studio Dr. Joshua Owele. It's good to have you.
Daisy, it's nice to meet you. It's really been a great time. This is a great program, and I'm glad to come over and be a guest in this program.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
I'm actually feeling a little bit intimidated. Why do you talk the way you talk? You're a doctor, by the way. So, did you school abroad, or what exactly makes you sound the way you sound?
I was actually hoping you're not going to ask me this question. What's going to happen the next time I come to this program? I'll give you the answer, but I won't tell you now.
Today?
Not
okay.
today, most
no
likely.
No problem. All right, we'll save it for another day.
All right.
We're talking about making the new account. Researchers actually showed that in January, a lot of people have challenges. It's so hard for many people. They just celebrate all through December and seem like everything is fine, and the moment January hits them, everything turns. Why is it that? Why do you think January is so hard for people?
There's so many reasons why people may consider January as a very difficult year. And one of the reasons why is because quite a number of times they make new resolution about what they want to see in the year 2018. And so they want to keep up with that new resolution. Okay, you say, if I used to smoke in the year 2017, in the year 2018, I will stop smoking. It's a new resolution. So quite a number of people, it's quite difficult to actually keep up with the new resolution. So they find themselves struggling with somebody that they are not. So, you know, somehow they have new habits which they intend to form, and new habits they need to break. And so much, to a great extent, it's a difficult year. Now, the second reason is because it's like a broke start after an expensive affair. You spend the year, you spend the month of December buying gifts and clothes and food and different items for people around, and you're like, okay, it is a new year. After spending your December salary, you have a long month of January, which you still have to spend money for. And so a whole lot of people start the month of January with little amount of money, and so because of that, they're not able to survive the way they should. They can't meet up to their demands, their expectations, their financial obligation. That's one of the reasons. And the third one is because if you're a businessman, generally you probably would have sold a whole lot of things in the month of December. Sold goods, items, and different things around. You probably had a booming business in December. But in January, you find that market goes low. Few people actually go to the market to buy things like clothes, shoes, and all those things. So you find that sales generally is reduced to its barest minimum. And these are the three basic reasons I actually think that people actually don't, people actually think that the month of December is really, I mean, the month of January is actually a more complicated month than other months. Coupled with the fact that in the month of December, there was this forced scarcity issue around Nigeria, and so people spent a fortune just buying petroleum to fuel their cars and their generators. And so they had little or no money to spend in January. These are some of the basic reasons. There are other reasons, and to an extent, it's more individualized to you personally. You may have reasons why, if you probably went on a long break, you resume back to work, you're like, oh my God, I need to rest some more, you know. So those are some of the reasons why people actually believe that the month of January, to an extent, is the most difficult month in the year. And so they find it difficult to readjust themselves. But from February, people start picking up. There's this boost of adrenaline into them. They start finding new ways to do old things, you know. That's actually what happens.
I'm glad I don't actually have a job that makes me go on long holidays. And I don't have kids and I have to pay school fees and do school runs. For those who do have, sorry. Okay, but how exactly can we make it easy? Because this is 1 January. There's several other Januaries we're going to meet. So we're still going to make, if we don't actually learn how to make our January easy for us, next year January we'll be having issues again. So how can we make January a very easy month so it doesn't always have to be so difficult?
In other words, you're talking about the way you actually move over to the new year. That's January itself. Basically, it's all about your goals, your priorities. If you plan properly in the month of December, you're not going to have a difficult January because you foresee some of the challenges you're going to face in January. And because you have seen some of those challenges, I'm telling you, majority of the challenges people face in January are not just social issues, they're more financial challenges. If you're from the East, you probably have to go to your own village. You now meet your uncle, your auntie, your grandmom, and so many other people who you have to spend money on. So if you understand some of your demands, You can properly plan your finances and ensure that you have just enough to take Cuba in the month of January. That's what you can do for yourself. Now, if you're a salesperson, you probably should look for a product that will boost, that people actually want to go for in the month of January. This is Hamilton period, for instance now. Lip gloss should sell during this period. Naturally, things like sweater should sell during this period. And so if you're a salesperson, you target your market towards some of this demand according to the weather. I understand the fact that it's December and a whole lot of people have spent a whole lot of fortune buying different items for their families and themselves. And so business is not really going to go the way you're actually planning to go. It's all about proper planning. Foresee the future. Understand what you're going to face in January and plan for it. Okay. You know, there's a scripture that says, a wise man seeth evil from afar. You know. But you see, a foolish man doesn't see that. He goes for it because he doesn't see the evil coming ahead of him.
Okay. All right, now there's something else about the way we celebrate the New Year. We have a lot of activities going on. There's just a whole lot of merrymaking through the last week of December. We have Christmas coming up, and then we have the Edo Festival, Igwe. And sometimes Salah also falls into the last week of December some years. Then we have the New Year celebration. So there's just a whole lot of eating and dancing and enjoyment. But on the 31st night, there's this wave. Almost everybody does a particular thing. We have this, we go to church before 12, and then we cross over to the New Year in church. And there are several other ways that people celebrate the New Year. It's like a tradition. I grew up to meet it, and I think my parents met it that way, and our kids are probably going to meet the same thing. And I asked my mom this recently, why do we have to cross over to the New Year in church? And she told me, because the way you cross over to the New Year matters a lot, how the year will be. Do you believe that the way you cross over to the New Year is what determines how your year is going to be?
Personally, I believe that. I think that the way you cross over to the New Year has an impact in the way your life turns out to be. Not just because you're crossing over to the New Year in church, because it's not everybody that crosses over to the New Year in church that are going to have a great year. But at the same time, there are people who cross over to the New Year in church that also have a great year. There are two reasons why I feel that the manner in which you cross over to the New Year will have a great impact in your life in the coming year. Apart from the fact that going to church has a role to play, there's a God factor to everything, which we must all respect. And I think the God factor is the most important factor in our lives. And sometimes acknowledging Him, allowing Him to take His place in our lives, could allow His grace to flow through us in ways we never thought possible. Now, there's a human aspect to it, which we have to do, our own human responsibility, and which is very important. Now, if we understand and know our human responsibility, which is like setting goals for the new year. Do you have definite goals for what you want to achieve in the year 2018? Imagine the year as a journey, and every month as a bus stop. Would you just one day enter a car and say, take me wherever you want to go? You wouldn't do so. Then why do people go through the year without having definite goals about what they want to achieve in the year? So, apart from the spiritual aspect, goals, definite goals of what you want to do, will help you achieve them. And you find that the way you cross over the year, if you set your goals in the year 2017, you can now see the manifestations in the year 2018 because you know exactly what you're going for. You have a direction for your life. You have a destination. You know, these two major factors will greatly influence, you know, the result you have in the year 2018. There are lots of people around the world who don't have a definite goal. Ask them, do you have a one-year goal? They don't have a one-year goal. 2 years ago, they don't have it. A 5-year goal, they don't have it. They have no vision for their life. And then the scripture says, my people perish for when there's lack of vision. When there's no vision, they perish. And so there has to be a plan, a definite plan for the new year. So going to church is not a problem. Different people have different strokes to the same thing. Some people may not believe that it's actually necessary. After all, in that first night, people are actually in the club, having fun with their friends, you know. So it's more of an individual thing. It's based on your belief. But I personally believe that it matters to me. I think I should be in church. I don't think there's any way better for me to be at that time, personally. is my own personal opinion to that.
Okay. Well, personally, I think I should be in my house, maybe writing down my goals and
Or doing that.
chilling with a bottle of wine.
All right, that's a cool one, you know. So,
Okay,
it's a great way.
It's important that you start the year right. But looking at the country, I know this is more of a individual thing, but Nigeria, well, is made up of several individuals. The way we started the year, we didn't actually, people would say we didn't start on a good note. The 31st night, there were killings, even in Kaduna, the traditional ruler killed, his pregnant wife killed, his son's house burned, and there were killings in several states. And moving into the new year, the killings continued. And even we had a lot of teenagers and youths who got drunk and they were knocked down by a car. And then it moved on to the Fulani herdsmen clash in Benue State, and there's going to be a mass burial tomorrow, by the way, Thursday. So then let's not even talk about fierce custody, because that even started before the year 2018. We just started January in a whole lot of bad notes. Do we still stand a chance to have a wonderful year?
You know, when we talk about a new year, I like to make people understand the year itself has no intelligence of its own. You're not going to say the year 2018, what did the year do for me? We say 2017, what did the year 2017 do for me? Because the year itself has no intelligence. Actually, the issue about time is variable. Time is a relative thing. In some part of the world, they haven't started their new year yet. We are using the Gregorian calendar, right? That is why we can say we are in a new year. So in some part of the world, they use the Julian calendar, and they are yet to enter the new year. What does that tell you? The year itself has no intelligence on its own. The year, you are the one to make the year what you want it to become. Now, looking at the issues of insecurity in different parts of the country, ranging from the Fulani herdsmen killing to different uprisings in different parts of the South. I heard also they have something like that in Cross River State, River State or so.
Yeah.
It's a sequelae of what has been happening in the year 2017. These are all challenges that require new approaches to solve them. They have been there all along. The reason why they're escalating is because we never actually got a solution for them. If we had a solution for these problems, we're not going to be facing them till now, or we're not going to have this kind of proportion of deaths and killings and insensible killings of people around. Starting the new year this week, it doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be good things. But nothing is going to change because the year itself has no intelligence until we change it. You're not going to ask, what did the year do for you? Ask, what did we do with our year? That's the question to ask. No, what did I gain in year 2018? No, it's what did I use the year to do? That's the question we ought to ask ourselves. And now this brings us back to the government, because the government have a responsibility which is a major responsibility that people look up to them in terms of security of the nation. Now, having tried to put policemen and military men in different parts where there's problem of insecurity, that is good, but that's not good enough. There have to be policies that will help to prevent these things from occurring. The best way of treating a condition is to prevent it in the very first place. And so if we want such kind of thing not to occur, we have to bring policies by the government, by the Senate, by the President, to bring situation whereby this thing will not have to occur. Laws that are favorable to both the herdsmen and to both the natives. So you don't have this kind of ethnic clashes. And also, we as individuals have a responsibility of security in our country. I remember something America's former president, John F. Kennedy, said. He said, do not ask what your country will do for you. Ask, what can I do for my country? That is the mentality every Nigerian should have. What can I do for my country? How can I play a major role in creating an environment where there will be peace? What do I do when I suspect some form of insecurity in some places? Do I just keep quiet? That's not my business. Someone who said something, he said, if your neighbor's house is burning, you better do something about it. Because very soon your house will start burning. It's in the north, it's far north, it's in the middle belt, it's not going to come here. Who told you? It's already happening already. So you've got to do something about it. We all have a responsibility to ensure that there's security of lives and properties. And that's the charge I'm telling everybody. We all have a responsibility. We have a role to play. to make this happen.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Joshua. I want to talk about New Year resolutions. We have radio programs, TV programs, even in churches, they tell you to write your resolutions. Some will tell you to write prayer points, some will tell you to write strategies, and a lot of names. But do you actually believe in New Year resolutions? And by the way, one of my editors told me he has a New Year resolution. So I wanted to know, what exactly is your New Year resolution? And said, I have just one. Say, let's hear it. And said his resolution is to ensure that he doesn't have a resolution. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. So he doesn't worry. He says, whenever he says he wants he has a resolution, he doesn't really follow. So his resolution this year is not to have a resolution. Just let the day come and go gradually, and things will progress. But do you believe in New Year resolutions?
Actually, I think the word New Year resolution is just a different nomenclature for goals.
Okay.
That's what I think, because over the time, I've tried to research what do people actually call New Year resolution. It just simply means New Year goals. Actually, in a broad term, they are goals. I believe in New Year resolution. I think that we should have New Year resolution because of so many reasons, which I'm going to share with you right now. Every one of us should have New Year resolutions. Why? You may not start the new year with a new car, with a new house, a new wardrobe, but we can all start a new year with a new attitude. The new year gives us the opportunity to redefine our priorities. There's a difference between some of us are doing urgent things, while some of us are doing important things. There's a great difference between urgent and important things. We need to redefine our priorities. Are we just doing urgent things, or are we doing important things? You need to redefine your priorities for yourself. It gives you the opportunity to redefine your priorities for your life. What have I been doing so long? Have they just been urgent things only? Or have they been things that are really important to the way, to my life, to the destination, to the picture, to the overall goal of my life? You need to redefine it. A new year gives us the opportunity to redefine our purpose. We tell ourselves, am I still on course to what I was born to do? Am I joining in that part I actually planned I wanted to go? It gives us the opportunity to redefine our purpose. You ask yourself that question, am I still on course what I'm born to do? Or am I just doing anything? You see, until you discover your purpose, you keep on experimenting with your time, your energy, your gifts, your talents. Until you discover your purpose for living, life will simply be an experiment. A new year gives us an opportunity to redefine our life's vision. What is your 20 years vision from now? What is your vision for the next 20 years from now? That's what it does for you. It gives you an opportunity to redefine your life's vision. My people perish when there is no vision. So you must have a vision for your life. A lot of people die because they never had a vision already, because your vision keeps you alive. Why should you live for the next 1 year without a vision? God's not going to allow that. Why does he need a man without a vision? You need to have a vision for your life. The next one, a New Year resolution gives you an opportunity to create worthwhile goals. The goals I've set before, are they worthwhile? Are they important to my life? It gives you an opportunity to create worthwhile goals for yourself. And finally, a New Year resolution gives you an opportunity to break away from the past. You might not have had a great 2017. Maybe the year 2017 didn't go according to how you planned it to be. You probably had hitches and challenges. And you had some disappointments financially, relationship, family-wise. You probably lost a loved one and all those things, where you can break away from the past and start afresh from a new year. You can begin to have new hopes for the year. That way it does for you. So don't be afraid to cut away those things which you think are not important to your life. Cut away friends, relationship, attitude, and things that are not important. Cut them away. You see, the most important job, sometimes we work very hard in our work. They work so hard. She works a whole lot in her work. Your number one responsibility is building your life. Your life is your personal project. If you build a very beautiful house for me, which is nice, I would say thank you. But if you don't build your life, you're a failure. Your number one responsibility to build your life, which you need to do. And a new resolution gives you the opportunity, another attempt actually, because many times we've made resolution which we don't keep, like your friend did.
Yeah.
But it's another attempt. You see, a failure is not someone who failed, it's someone who quits after failing. Winners don't quit, and quitters don't win. If you don't keep up with your new resolution in a 2017, set another one. Then find the reasons why you didn't achieve it. The problem is not in the resolution, the problem is in the strategy that you apply to achieving that particular goal. That's where the problem is. And always you focus your attention in which strategy did I apply? What were the strategies that you need to ask yourself? I think that with all these, I think that you should have a new resolution for yourself. Don't shy away from it. Don't say, it didn't work before, so I don't think it's going to work again. No, set the same goal and create a new strategy to make it work.
Okay. All right, so it is very important to have New Year resolutions. I'm going to take this one home. It is another attempt to start all over. We have a documentary that was put together by a site, improvementpill.com, and they did the research in the universities on how you can actually make your New Year resolutions work. So it's one thing to make it. Dr. Wele already said you need strategy. So let's join improvementpill.com and see their own advice on how you can make your New Year resolutions work for you.
A recent study found that only 8% of people actually end up achieving their New Year's resolution. Here's a couple of tips and tricks on how to do just that. A long time ago, there was a dying king with 2 sons. He loved each son equally but was having an extremely hard time deciding who would rule the kingdom after he passed away. So he decided to present a question to his 2 sons. If given the kingdom, what would you accomplish? The first son proudly said, I would make the kingdom great, greater than it has ever been before. The people will be happy and our kingdom will flourish. The second son calmly said, well, the school systems don't work. I would hire more teachers and invest more of the tax money into the schools and libraries. I want to make sure our people are more educated. And with his dying breath, the king granted his second son the kingdom. Tip number 1 is to have a plan. The dying king granted his kingdom to his second son because his second son had a plan. No one has ever said, oh, I'm going to be healthier this year, and the next day woke up healthy. There has to be a plan, goals, and action that needs to be taken. So instead of saying something like, I'll be healthier this year, you can say something like, I'm going to go to the gym every other day this year. A few years ago when I was in college, there was this one New Year's where I was so pumped, so excited about my New Year's resolution. I had just discovered the world of self-development and was motivated to finally get off my ass and accomplish something with my life. I had about 10 different things planned for the New Year's. I was going to stop eating sugary foods. I was going to practice dancing for 30 minutes a day. I was going to read a book a week. I was going to meditate twice a day. I was going to quit watching porn. I was going to go to all my classes. I was going to work on my side projects and a ton of other things too. I was so excited, and for the first week I actually managed to do it all. But as the weeks went on, I completely forgot about some of these goals, and eventually when it was finally December again, I had barely only accomplished one of my goals. Tip number 2 is to choose wisely. Don't choose too many resolutions. The majority of resolutions involve some sort of habit change, and habit changes have a huge drain on your body's willpower. Things like quitting smoking and dieting usually require tons and tons of willpower. Think of it this way. Willpower is like a battery that needs to be charged every night. When you have way too many resolutions, the strain on this battery causes it to run out before you have a chance to charge it. And then all hell breaks loose. You give yourself the ultimate cheat day and it's game over. So if you have way too many resolutions, ask yourself this. What are the top 2 or 3 things that I constantly find myself dreaming about? These should be your resolutions for the new year. It's interesting how physical a contract can feel. When you have to pay the water bills, the electricity bills, the gas bills, it feels like there's a huge wall that you have to confront at the end of every month. Even though it's not a tangible thing, there's a sense of pressure and fear there, especially when you're a couple of hundred behind and the deadline is a couple of days away. Tip number 3 is to write your resolutions down. This makes the resolution feel like a contract. It creates pressure for you to complete it. And to build on that, for the past 3 years, I've written down every resolution on a sheet of paper, labeled it with my name, and put it right next to my computer for the entire year. Since it's there all the time, I look at it quite often. And every time I look at it, I feel a tremendous amount of pressure to make sure that I continue to keep my resolution. Tip 3.5, keep your resolutions in a place that is visible or nearby. I used to always go around and tell my friends about the great things that I planned on doing, the things that I was going to do but haven't done yet. And for some strange reason, it felt good. Tip number 4, don't tell anyone about your New Year's resolution. A recent study has found that people who talk about their intentions before accomplishing them gain a false sense of completeness. When you talk about something that you haven't accomplished yet, you trick your brain into visualizing a scenario where you have accomplished it. This causes you to lose tons of motivation that you had beforehand. They say that it takes 21 days to either form a habit or break a habit. Luckily for you, the first month of the New Year's is literally the easiest time of the year to actually do something for 21 days straight. Everyone is extremely motivated to go out there and accomplish their New Year's resolution. They're all talking about the great things that they're going to go out there and do. And nobody wants to be the first person to lose this race. Tip number 5, take advantage of the New Year's rush. This is also the perfect time for you to find an accountability buddy. An accountability buddy is somebody who makes sure that you're going out there every single day and doing the things that you promised yourself that you would do. It's somebody who helps you keep yourself in line. At the same time, you help them keep themselves in line too. Tip number 6 is to find yourself an accountability buddy. It could be a friend or family member who's close to you. This is the one time where you should be telling somebody about your goals, because his or her sole purpose is to constantly nag you to accomplish those goals. And no other time throughout the year is it easier to find someone who's as motivated as you are to go out there and make a change. Happy New Year's. Let's make this year the year where you actually make a change.
All right, you definitely can make your New Year resolutions work. You have to be accountable for yourself. Come on. If you've decided you're going to achieve certain things, then you need to figure out a strategy to make it work. Strategy is the key. And back to you, Dr. Joshua, or should I say Dr. Whaley?
Any of them. You probably could call the two names together. It's not a big deal.
Okay, now the big question, which is why we're here, how can we make this year count? How can we make it work for us? How can we be in charge over a year as youths, as young people?
As a country.
And yeah, and as a country, but more focus on the youth.
Every youth have been trained to go to school. After going to school, get an education, then get a job. So every person watching me right now, at least 95% of the youths out there have this mindset that you go to school, you get an education, you get a good job, that's what you're trained to do. But that's a wrong mentality to a great extent. We have been trained the wrong way. The reason why is because there is a great difference between your work and your job. A lot of times we don't even know there's a great difference between your work and your job. There's a big difference. Your job is what you are trained to do. Your work is what you are born to do. Your job is your skill. It can be taken away from you. Your work is your gift. No man can take that from you. Your job is what you receive compensation for activities. Your work is where you receive fulfillment for activity because you love it so much. You see, you can retire from your job, but you cannot retire from your work because your work is you. And so each and every youth have to define what their work is. Their work means what is their gift. Every one of us have something peculiar, something extraordinary, something unique about us that we can do so well that nobody else can do. Now, whatever I'm doing to you right now is a manifestation of my work, not my job. I'm a medical doctor. That's what I'm doing to you right now. So you can't take this away from me. It's in me. This is who I am. And so find your work, which is your gift. That's the first thing every youth needs to do. We have been trained to be employed. We have not been trained to deploy ourselves. There's a difference between employment and deployment. Employment means that somebody is using your own energy to solve his own problems. Deployment means you're using your own energy for your own purpose to become more productive. We have been trained to seek for employment. We haven't been trained to deploy ourselves. We need to change the paradigm from thinking about trying to employ to get jobs and seeking jobs. We should think about how can we deploy what we've got within ourselves, the gifts that we have within ourselves. Each and every one of us have at least one peculiar gift, which you need to locate that gift. Every one of us have that gift. It's our responsibility to locate it, then build on it, refine that gift. Refine it till it comes to its final state that you can use your gift to solve a problem. The next thing is this. Every youth need to understand this. When you talk about lack of jobs in a society, the government is not providing enough jobs in Nigeria, you need to change your thinking. After finding your gift, use your gift to solve a problem. Every problem in life is a business. And every business is somebody's solution to a problem. People talk about church business. You know, I don't talk about pastors and churches. I'm a Christian. I don't talk about those things. I personally think it's wrong to talk about churches and pastors. But in the ideal of business, I'm not criticizing. I'm not saying anything wrong in it. But in a way, church is a business. After Jesus Christ said, I come to do my Father's business. So a church is a business. Why is it a business? Because there is a problem in the society that the church is solving. So you have mega churches. Why are they growing big and expanding, having branches? Because they are solving a problem in the society. So every problem is a business. And every business is somebody's solution to a problem. The problem of lack of power supply. Somebody discovered electricity. Somebody invented the light bulb, like Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. He solved the problem. And when he solved the problem, he created a business for himself. Don't look for a business. Don't look for a job. Look for a problem and use your gift to solve the problem. Dangote, for instance, understand Nigeria has a problem with force scarcity. And what is he doing? He's building one of the largest refineries in the world. There's a problem in the country, but he's using what he's got to solve that problem. And I'm telling you, by the time he's done building that refinery, he's going to want much more than he is currently. Why? Because he saw a problem, and he uses gift to solve it. Don't ask yourself, I need a job, I need a business. Ask yourself, I need a problem. Show me a problem that I can match my gift to solve. That's the question each one of us should ask ourselves. Which problem can I solve with my gifts, my abilities, my talent? Which problem can I solve? There are lots of problems in Nigeria. I believe, I'm talking to you right now. From a lot of people came back from Libya about a month ago and some days back. I'm talking to all of you right now. Nigeria has more business opportunities than the United States, than Canada, than Germany, than Italy, than South Africa. Do you know why? The reason is so simple, because Nigeria has more problems than those countries. It's just simple reasons. We have more problems than this country. And every problem is a business. We have more problems than this country. So you don't need to go to those places, because when you go to those places at the end, you become a third-class citizen. You are used as a dishwasher. So stay in your country here and solve a problem. Look for the problems around here. There are more opportunities here in this country than in those countries, because there are more problems in this country that are in those countries. So use what you've got to solve those problems. Don't go there. Believe in yourself. See, prosperity is not in your location. Prosperity is in you. If you take an alligator in Nigeria, a lizard in Nigeria is not going to become an alligator in America. It's not going to change. It's got to change from you. That's what you need to know. Nigeria, as a country, focus on investors for the survival of the country. And Nigeria, not just Nigeria, other African nations We need to change our thinking. Instead of exporting natural resources to the world, we start exporting end products to the world. Instead of looking for investors, we start looking for partners, business partners. We need to change our mentality as a nation. We need to do all of this. And I'm telling you, if we do this as a country, Nigeria is going to change. We'll start seeing that there's so much gold in us. The greatest natural resource of a people, of a nation, is the intelligence of its people. It's not the gold, it's not the oil, it's the intelligence of the people. That's the greatest natural resources. We need to change, a paradigm shift. We stop thinking about exporting natural resources, we start exporting end products. We start becoming employees of the world, become employers of the world. The world comes here to look for jobs. We stop looking for investors, we start looking for partners. Then we have grown up. We need to do this. If we act this way, if we think this way as a nation, there's no telling you how much we're going to accomplish in this year 2018. There's a paradigm shift. The reason for the low GDP in most African countries, you know GDP, gross domestic product, because of the low GMA. GMA means low gross mental attitude. That is the reason for the low GDP. We need to redefine our mentality and start thinking differently as a nation.
All right. All right, you know, you see the reason why we had to bring a motivational speaker on Flipside today. If we open our phone lines and say, call into the show and talk about Nigeria, a lot of you are just going to call in and say there's a problem here, Fulani herdsmen are killing people, we don't have light, we've not seen light for 4 days, the transformer in my street is bad, and for the past 4 months I don't know how light looks like, and I'm sure if I see light I'm going to go blind because I'm not used to it no more. And some are going to call and I don't have money to pay my kids' school fees, I need the minimum wage to be 100 and something thousand, a lot of problems. But I think this is a point where we need to encourage ourselves and begin to solve these problems by ourselves. Let's make ourselves so important, so relevant. The government, we have no other option than to support us. Sure, so what's your last words today?
My last words for you, I've said a lot about the New Year, New Year's resolution, and to individuals and how you can make the year count. But something about goals I would like you to do in the new year. Sometimes when we are setting goals, we just set vague goals. We set outcome goals, that's what I call it. We should learn to set both outcome and performance goals. What are outcome goals? Outcome goals are the outcome, the result you want to have at the end of it. Performance goals are what you're going to do, the steps you're going to take, the actions you have to take in order to achieve the outcome goal. It's like saying I want to have A in mathematics. That's an outcome goal. The performance goal is every day I'm going to read for 1 hour. These are performance goals. What you're going to do in order to achieve them. And that's the reason why a whole lot of time we don't achieve our goals, because we just set outcome goals. God, give me a car. My goal for the year 2018. All right, what am I going to do exactly to make that a reality? That's your performance goal. So John just set outcome goals, set performance goals for the year 2018. And I assure you, you're going to have a great year 2018. Yeah.
All right, that's it on Flipside today. Have your plans, write it down, what you're going to do to ensure that those plans actually are going to work. And do not lose faith because your 2017 wasn't so good, it wasn't dope, yeah. You have another opportunity to start over again. Every new year is an opportunity to start again, to start afresh. So don't give up, don't just lose faith. You need to push. As a nation, as an individual, as a family, make your plans, what you want to see, and how you intend to achieve it. And your 2018 will definitely be count. It will be worth the while and to be worth writing them about. I'm Daisy Abaisiagwan. Thanks for staying with us on the show. Next week, we'll talk about something else. Bye for now.